Okay, folks, we've almost made it to Friday. Almost made it to Friday evening. But Friday day, not a fan of. Friday evening, yes. Because then it's over. Happy Thursday, folks. Kind of a little bit of a later start, but I have some things that I want to mention. Hopefully the right people show up so I can bring them up. I had a really good show. Last couple nights have been a really good show. A lot of audience participation. I would have stayed up later last night if I didn't have to go to work. But I'm waking up at like 3 in the morning and stuff like that, and going back to bed. So I guess if I'm going to wake up that early, I need to go to sleep a little earlier. I'm not staying up, but we will see who shows up today, and if we can talk about the stuff that we want to talk about. What is it? Model kits. And I came across a model company that I just can't keep this to myself. Bit of a rant. So if you're a fan of rants, but in the meantime, we will continue. All of these guys are based. We do epoxy these vehicles and the Sherman on these. So we're going to do the cutout for this. And yeah. Mr. Rick, a good Tony rant. I don't know. I'm not known for him. I try not to go on him online. Although, what did I say today at work? I'm like, there's a special place in hell for communists, ketchup, the quadratic formula, and the dickhead that invented Microsoft Teams. That is just ridiculous. Microsoft Teams is just a byproduct of COVID. I swear before COVID it didn't exist. It probably did, but we didn't have it. Any program they want you to use in the office, but then they don't train you how to use it. You know, I'm pretty computer literate. You know, but you know, I'm not a technology person because I'm not up to date with, you know, things changing all the time. You know, that's why I paint. I don't wake up one day and like, oh, I don't know how to paint now. You know, you swore at Microsoft Teams today, myself. Yeah, it's just a freaking it's just stupid. The concept isn't bad. The problem is that it's not organized in a way that is you can scan and see what's readily evident. You know, it's similar to a freaking email. It's an email that gets sent out to like 12 different people, and then you know that poses a question, right? And then you know you've got people that just have really bad email skills. I'm not one of them. You know, I like having a conversation with a customer or something like that on the phone, come to an agreement, and then you shoot them an email about what you agreed on. You know, simple, succinct, not like, hey, let's write a question. Let's send an email out that has 12 freaking questions on it. And then 12 people are on it, and one person responds to it. The other person responds to it as well, but didn't build upon the first person. So you're always like kicking the butt. It's just like, it's a colossal waste of time. You know, I can't stand anything more than, you know, not being efficient at work because, you know, I got to get things done or they're just going to pile up. And some people just don't care. You know, some people have the kind of job that, you know, if they get the minimum amount of stuff done during the day, they don't care. You know, people that work at the post office, you know, they don't care. I used to have this guy, I've worked in this small town that I live in now since 1994, and I have to mail things out. So on my lunch break, I go to this small town, you know, and I'm limited, you know. I call my lunch break holy hour, right? I don't want to do anything that is unpleasant or unpleasurable. If I have to, like go to the post office, I want it to be over quick so I can go back and, you know, do whatever it is that I want to do. You know, look at YouTube videos, whatever the hell it is that I feel like doing. And they got this whole redneck dude God's gift to the South in this post office all the time. He's a lifer. And I go in there, it's like, look, I got my what do you call the flat rate package? I got it all addressed out, and I go in there and said, this is all I need. I don't need any stamps or anything. He didn't care what I told him. He was going to go through the litany of, well, do you want this? Well, do you want, like, time's running, pal. You're on my time, ass clown. I hate going to the post office. You're like, hey, let me help them out and make them more efficient. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. They're like, they just want to. People don't realize, the more you hustle, obviously to a limit, the faster your day goes by, right? I agree. Nobody wants to be at work, but let's hustle, and your day goes by quick. Not just like, fiddle fucking around, Oh, this is a wide track thing. Well, you're already here, so let me invoke the Nerd Burglar and see if the Nerd Burglar seance and see if Nordic shows up. Because I got something I want to say, and Nordic needs to be here for it. It's not about him, but it's model kit related, and he can appreciate it. And if he takes too long, well, I'll just bring it up anyways. You like those old Lego things that I showed you, huh? Man, there were some ugly ass things. I don't know. Proof that everybody was doing drugs in the 70s. Nerd burglar alert. That's right. Auga. There's actually a website or something that's called Nerd Burglars, and I'm like, what the hell, man? I should sue them. That's my term. I don't know where I got it from. I don't think I got that one from anybody. And I'm okay taking things from other people and giving them credit, There's a couple things that I consider myself to have coined. That's one of them. The other one is impetuate. When you're talking about impetuous troops, I create my W-isms. My make-believe words. I wouldn't write them in an email. I'm just, they're just things I say. These knights impetuate. It should be a word, right? You know what shouldn't be a word? Firstly. Like when you're listing a bunch of things, and they do this all the time. They'll be like, firstly, I would do like, who writes like that? Sherlock Holmes. Expecting perfection in an imperfect world will drive you crazy. Maybe that's why a lot of people do drugs. I'm not one of them. Unless you count caffeine, in which case I'm an abuser. I don't drink enough to even consider. I went to the doctor recently, and they said, how many ounces of alcohol do you have each day? And I basically said like 0 to 1 if you do like the average, like, because I'll go months. If nobody's visiting me, I'll go months without drinking anything. And then I'll go on a cruise and, I got 10 drinks a day for a week. And I just go back to normal, It's just a thing I do. It's not, I don't find it addictive for me. Well, he's not showing up, so I'm gonna go, and it's not really a rant, but I was looking at model kits the other day. We were talking about aircraft and everything, and I'm like, let's see who makes this and who makes that and who makes the other thing, and I'm like, oh, these are some. I remember the name of this company. It's a company that I saw in this town that I'm in. If I want to buy a plastic model, God help me, I got to go to Hobby Lobby, and they'll have maybe one thing in 1/72nd scale. It's not a tank. And it's a crap model. Or I think Joann's Fabrics actually had some. And I came across these model kits, by a company that I'd never heard of before, and all over plastered over the front of it said "Made in the USA." You know, like they were like proud of this thing, right? Well, I'm all for things being made in the USA, but if they're junk, I'd rather keep a low profile that it's made around here. You know what I'm saying? So, this company came across, and it reminded me of another company that I'm not a fan of called Lindbergh. And maybe it was tied in with Lindbergh somewhere, but I'd never heard of them before. They're called Atlantis. And what are they notorious for? Oh, they're notorious for making things in messed up scales, make-believe scales, right? So if you buy a battleship, I believe they make a battleship Missouri, okay? Atlantis models. There was an Atlantis models that was in Germany a long time ago. Atlantis models. All made in the USA. Well, I'll buy foreign shit if that's what it is. Atlantis is a plastic model kit manufacturer located in the USA. All the kits we produce manufactured in the USA. Okay, well that's all fine and dandy, but let's look at model ships, okay? Here's Battleship Bismarck. Awesome. Really popular model. What scale is it in? 1/618th. The hell's wrong with you? It's either 600 or 700 or 350. There's your choices. I think they even make a big one. Somebody makes it like a 200 scale. 618th? It's like, okay, well, that's kind of an interesting scale they picked. Maybe that's an Atlantis scale. Maybe that's a scale this company's going to start making. So they make a Wisconsin. 1/1665. Okay, so they're not in scale with each other. Like, what's wrong with you people? Proudly made in the USA. I wouldn't be so proud of that. I'd be a little bit more humble if you're making crap like that. Modern in the Merrimack. Oh, cool. Maybe they'll be in scale with some of the other stuff. Probably didn't even say on here what scale they are. No, Lindbergh used to do that crap. Lindbergh used to do crap like that. There'd be like some strange, if you oh, a North Carolina, maybe all of the American battleships are the right scale, right? Because the Bismarck is 1/618th, right? Wisconsin is 1/665th, another make-believe scale, and an odd number. The battleship North Carolina, 1/500th. It's like, now you're just being a dick. Nautilus submarine, 1/300th. Gato fleet submarine, 240. Ticonderoga aircraft carrier, 500. There's two ships that are actually the same scale. It's a miracle. Forrest Sherman destroyer, 1/320. The Pittsburgh heavy cruiser, not 500, like two other kits are, 490. What's wrong with you? You guys? I'd say you got to drug test these people, but they'd fail a drug test if they studied for a month. Iowa, same class as in Missouri, right? Should be easy to use the same hull. No, it's 1/535. These people are handicapped. I'm telling you. So they made aircraft too. And they were like some demented scale. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Oh, a B-26 Invader. A bomber, okay? Actually, I don't know what a B-26 Invader. Maybe it's supposed to be an A-26. I don't know. A B-26 is a Marauder. Anyways, 1/67th scale. 167, not even 164, where you can at least use them at the same scale as Hot Wheels. Nope. Super Saver, 1/70th. No, it goes on. It goes on and on and on. It makes here's a Scorpion, 1/77th. It's like, what are you people smoking? Oh well, there's my rant. Your local hobby has a big selection of models. The only thing I ever found that I would want was an Airfix Sherman. However, I've yet to see them on shelves again. So, Hobby Lobby used to have the Airfix Sherman. And I think it's 176. That's why I didn't get it. It's 176, and I decided not to get it. And I haven't seen it yet. You know. Anyways, that was my rant. So something I mentioned yesterday. I have a I keep saying Plastic Soldier Company. It's not. An Armor Fast M4 that I got way back when. Two of them come in a pack. And one of them, in all my moves, I lost this mantlet piece on here. So I'm like, I need to buy another set and then cast one. And I just kind of fiddled with this morning, and I got it to come off. So I'm thinking of casting this thing and then using epoxy putty, and maybe it could get close, and then I could put the other one into use. But anyways, I didn't have to tug on this very much. It came off. That may be worth doing. These are kind of devoid of detail, but you put junk on them and stuff, and they look all right, you know? Anyhow, you have the footprint on this thing all right? Looks like it. Okay, that one's good to go. Yeah, Lindbergh used to do stunts like that, but man, Atlantis, I actually didn't know it was as bad as it is until I looked at it. That's just embarrassing. That's embarrassing. Oh, man. That's terrible. And that company wasn't around 20 years ago. All right. Proudly made in the USA. I'd shut up unless you're going to get deported. We don't need that kind of incompetence here. We got enough of it already. I think I need to. I'm going to have to use this as a guide. I don't want to really use a marker, and then it's really noticeable. Should be a hard edge in here somewhere. This method's actually working pretty well. It has served me well throughout the years. Throughout the year. Greetings from Utah. Oh man, you forgot. You missed my rant on Atlantis models. Okay, perfect. And then we'll go over to this end. Storm coming in. Snowstorm? So Skylab, I know you're big into space stuff. What's your favorite space thing? Is it like the Saturn V? Is it the space shuttle things? Is it you know what? This is a little too tall. I'm gonna have to do something crazy. Done this before, but I don't think it was with this clipper. Just take a little bit off so it sits flatter. Oh man, you missed my rant. My rant on Atlantic models. You have to watch it later. We used to joke that Lindbergh would figure out what size box they were going to use for the model and then make the model kit as big as you could in the box. But this is just absurd. They at least had, they don't have this. I think we found all those kits, two of them had the same scale. You're most impressed by a Saturn V and very amazed by a Skylab station. You could just repeat the rant in an even more epic rant. I don't want to tire people out. That wouldn't be fair to people that actually showed up. I waited a little bit and I'm like, well, I figured you'd come on. What do you think of that picture that I sent you? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy with plastic surgery and Hollyweird and plastic surgery? Those people are nuts, man. They're like from another galaxy. Hollyweird. This Hollywood people are so damn strange. I don't know why the general population holds them in such high regard. Maybe that's why they're general population. Because I don't have any heroes. Having heroes is just like an excuse for people to like, well, he's my hero, so I'll let him get away with it. It just seems like an excuse to misbehave. I think of what I was looking at aircraft. We were talking about aircraft quite a bit, and of course I saw that footage, which I'd seen before, that crash that happened at the Dallas Air Show. I think it was last year with that P-63 King Cobra crashed into the B-17, split it in two. And I saw another viewpoint of that crash, and I started thinking, P-63 is kind of a cool looking plane. It is. I'm like, let's find out about the P-63. So I, read about it. Okay, the French used some after the war. Okay, yeah. All right, and I'm like, I wonder who makes a model of P-63. And Atlantis makes a model of P-63. So then I started looking at Atlantis models. I'm like, oh, I saw these guys had them in Joann's fabric, and realized then that, they have things that aren't the same scale as each other. Like, maybe you're going to buy one model and that's the only one you buy. That makes sense. But if you want like two, you can't put them next to each other because they're not the same scale. And they're just absurd numbers. And it's apparently a commonality through all their models on their website. Your heroes are long dead and kept alive through history. I don't view celebrities as heroes or sports stars as heroes. I said she just got herself off that list with the plastic surgery. Yeah, plastic surgery is really made for, people that have. I mean, you could do whatever the hell you want with your body, but I'm just saying, if you're in a car crash or something like that, or you got some kind of disfigurement or something that, it just seems like you're doing it for the wrong purposes. Still working and letting myself get distracted. Well, as long as it keeps you calm. Nope, can't hear the fizzies today. My wife was surprised that you heard her response. She told me today, I said, really? Somebody heard me? I said, yeah, I gave him a rash of shit that he's got woman hearing. She just laughed. Are there any women out there that have bad hearing? I don't know. I haven't met any. I happen to have bad hearing, but that's just from being, ear infections as a kid. And if you hear voices, well, my daughter's here for the weekend from college. So we got to detox her from all the leftism she heard. the the insanity, of this new generation. They get offended by all the wrong stuff. First thing she says to me, "Hey, that new Band of Brothers show that's in the air is just out." I said, "Honey, I watched a little bit of it, unfortunately, and it's not worth watching." Like, well, maybe we can watch one episode. All right, we'll give it one episode. You know. They are not PSC half tracks. These are toys. These are a corgi toy. It even says on there, corgi. I got these probably about 1999, 2000, 2001. Probably got them at Toys R Us. And man, they paid up nice. And they're almost exactly 1/72nd scale because these are supposedly 1/72nd scale and they're almost the same damn size. These are Altaya ones, so which is funny because the Shermans that are made by Corgi are 1/76. They're much smaller. These just happen to be the right size. You can't beat that. They're $4 a piece or something like that. Mr. Greg, you're able to catch you while I have lunch after doing the lawns. I'd rather go back to your normal job than doing lawns. That sounds no fun. I sold my lawnmower. It was a great day. I have way too much property now. I don't really have that much property, but it's too much for a push mower. And I'm not buying a riding one because they cost, thousands of dollars for the privilege of mowing a lawn. Like, no, let somebody else could do that. I heard her response clear as day. My microphone is the god of microphones or something. Well, if you guys want to get one, I heard reviews on these things, and I've been really happy with it. I believe it's called a Blue Rhino. And they're really good. I mean, I shouldn't have to buy another one. They come in all kinds of funky colors. I decided to get a black one because, black works with everything. So, blue, and they got all kinds of different things. I think it's called a Blue Rhino. Anyways, they're about $99, something like that. You buy one, you never have to buy one again, Had a big old box of 1/700 Godzilla figures coming in today, but it got delayed to my chagrin. See, even they get it because you could put that with ships and stuff, They make a ton of 1/700 scale ships, Do they make a waterline Godzilla? I'll need to watch that. Oh, my daughter's here this weekend. I wonder if we can. I wonder if we can see that. I wonder if we can see that. Hold on a second. I'm gonna mention that to her so we don't forget. All right. She was like, really? I said, yeah, everybody says it's a great movie. I have to watch it and make sure they get the right Japanese ships. Gonna start printing up some 1/700 scale tanks and planes. Building a 700 scale buildings in Tinkercad as well. Tinkercad. What's the backstory of Godzilla? Is it basically the atom bombs come in and wake up a monster? I don't remember. There was a Godzilla game that way back in the day when you could rent games at Blockbuster. Early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, sort of an early 2000s, 2001, 2, 3, something like that. There was a Godzilla game that I played. I rented it. It could have been so much better, but I liked the concept of it. It was like a monster. You were like in this city that you could destroy, and you got to play a monster. And it was like a rock'em sock'em robot. No, but there's more to it than that. And you could play, Godzilla and all the other ones. And I thought it was pretty cool. I'm into dinosaur type things as long as they're big. Like, I like the Jurassic Park movies, but I don't give a flaming rip about raptors, because they're I don't care how smart. Dinosaurs on here, they poop bigger than you. Okay, they're just, they destroy things. They're big. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see a freaking dinosaur that's reinvented dinosaurs. I don't give a shit about T-Rex with a freaking feather boa. I don't give a shit like that. With a feathered T-Rex. Wait a few years. The research will change on them or whatever. So yeah, I'm all for big monsters as long as they're big. You have a family board game called King of Tokyo. Is it good? Tinkercad's a nice website. Designed a few tanks, but I lack the printing abilities to make them reality. PS2, Xbox. It was on the original Xbox, anyways. I actually rented before I got one. I actually rented both. I rented the PlayStation. I guess it was the 2, and the Xbox. And I was like, okay, which one's gonna win? For me, the Xbox won. The controller was a little big, but it had more of the games that I like to play. So I used to be a big Sony fan of everything, and the last TV I had that was Sony, it was just weird. And they do cameras, like they do this proprietary, well, who the hell needs a camera these days? But they do a lot of proprietary stuff that's kind of a pain in the butt. So I'm not a big Sony fan, but no, they both did the test, and the Xbox came ahead, and I haven't looked back. So tanks sound too annoying with limitations. Yeah. What's the concept of Mechagodzilla? Is that a human created? Like, we're gonna fight a monster with a big monster, and we're gonna make him look like a lizard too, Although, if Godzilla is basically like a dinosaur, then by rights, then you thinking it's just a big chicken, right? Mr. Jacques, welcome back. Where it is another day and it is another season. Of course, Greg's over there in another season as well. And since you're ahead, because it's one day ahead in Australia, and it's another season, I should ask Greg. So how's this coming summer looking? I'm curious to see how warm this house is going to be in the summer because this house is extremely well insulated. Mechagodzilla has multiple origin stories. However, the first one was built by some alien apes from outer space. Well, maybe we'll forget about that one then. Alien apes. Not a fan of aliens. Although I did see, I'll see stuff on my Facebook feed that I'm not necessarily interested in it. And I'm like, oh, curious, And I think there was a post today about Battlestar Galactica. The original show, I don't know if there was a movie or a show. I caught like one episode of it as a kid. When it was on, we lived in Alabama, and we didn't have the channel that it was on, I like science fiction stuff as a kid because, I'm a kid, but after a while, you're like, what? And then I never saw the new one. But I'm not really much of a retro watcher, I'm not really interested in watching something that is really dated and 40 years old. An old movie's okay, but when you're talking about like, yeah, this is how things are going to be in 2050. I'm like, I think you're going to be off on that mark quite a bit there, pal. Hot, damn hot. Funny story, Hoffman. Once won a game of Cards Against Humanity with Mecha Hitler as my card play. I love that game. But what I really like doing is I like reading the cards. Because you can only be so crafty based on what you have. But I love reading. I don't like to... In other words, I like being the judge. Because I don't like to pre-read them. And then, I get myself in stitches. There's many cards that are just... You can't do anything good with them. So... That game's not a lot of fun with people that are super thin-skinned, though. The new one's actually pretty good. You're talking about Battlestar Galactica? Well, it's like a different plot, right? It's like the... Trail of Tears Barbie. What's jerking off in a pool of children's tears or something like that. That's one of the cards. But it realized me the last time I played it, which was probably about a year ago, that it's not that fun of a game. Because if you end up getting a bunch of cards that are just not useful, you're just sitting around waiting. It's not about winning. It's about coming up with crafty shit that's going to make people, pee themselves. And sometimes you just don't have that ammo. You don't get the cards. You just can't do anything with it. So, I would be happy not playing the game and just pull the cards and read them as they go because I really enjoy doing that. It's a similar plot, but everything was changed in the show. The modern one is grittier and better acting. I don't know, the old one, I found out that the old one has, I didn't know this. I might have gone out of my way to see it. A young Jane Seymour in it. Yeah. Big fan of that. But I can't really see any reason to watch it other than that, Lauren Green, which I will always associate with dog food. Right? It was dog food, not cat food. Where Trail of Tears Barbie feels against my Mecha Hitler. Mecha Hitler hasn't been a really good card sometimes. It's hard to use, I think we should have a game of Cards Against Humanity. Invite Rick over, and we'll have sweet potato fries. Oh man. Rick, you need to stay out of the South. They'll shoot you. There's a there's a little country restaurant around the corner. And it is so bad that they fuck up grits. You know, if you don't know, if you screw up grits in the South, there's something wrong with you. And you know, there's some things that, you know, I can buy that people don't like, but lots of people find grits disgusting. And I'm sorry, it's just corn. There's nothing gross about corn. You know, it's not like you're eating a mammal's testicles or you know, snails or shit like that. You know, it's just freaking corn, man. It's in everything. Now, I don't eat grits frequently. I do like them. But yeah, this place up the road, yeah, they screw up grits. When you go overseas, they use sweet potato leaves. If Rick is trying to South and called dibs on his games and game room. Oh, man. Yeah, you got to keep that. How often you dust your game room, man? Your game room seems really well organized. You're in the South and I can make that accent happen Nordic. Can we do 50-50? This guy that worked, he was one of the loaders at work, and he surprised me and he came back to work. I said, dude, I didn't know you were coming back. He was like, yeah, I didn't things didn't work out in Texas. And without missing a beat, I said, they had you laying out concertina wire and the guy behind you was picking it up, didn't they? He just laughed. No, I'm glad to have him back. I didn't know he was coming back. Mr. Gray, welcome. Give yourself a deal. Let's get Rick and you to the South. Eric, you live in North Carolina, and that's actually south of Florida. I've said it before. I am proudly from the South, but I'm not Southern. What's that mean? Think about it. I'm not Southern. But I'm definitely from the South. Okay. I think this guy needs to get something laid on him. What'd I say? Exactly what you thought I said. Let's put some of this heavy metal on these guys, and hold these guys down. Scott's here. It says, hey. Well, I won't see you guys at Historicon. I'm not going this year. Sorry. I didn't even know the rooms went up like that. Like, by the time I found out they were. I probably could have gotten a room and known connections, but. people crying about, oh, this convention situation in Historicons is so bad. I wish it never left the host. I can firmly say I'm never going to go to the host again. Ever. Never, ever, ever. It is embarrassing that a country that you can drink the water out of the faucet, questionable depending on where it is, but yes, you can drink the water out of the faucet and not get sick, has a place that's like the Lancaster host. It is just embarrassing. I'm never going there again. For shame. We may not either, yeah. At least make it a challenge for me to joke on you. I don't know what the challenge is. What about South Carolina being north of here? I mean south of here? It is. If you don't know, then you've never been in North Carolina. Same thing for the other Carolina. Georgia's south of here. Wow, I think this is going to be el dificulto. I think we're going to have to put a pin in here and epoxy to hold this thing in place. I don't even know who makes this FT17. But it is not a good model. Not at all. It is. FT17. Shouldn't take long for these things to goop dry. And then we'll end up doing the tufting and everything. I'm going to do that in the garage. I don't want all the static crap everywhere. You landed in Raleigh for a few hours, then flew over to South Carolina. Technically, I've never been to either. The last time I was in North Carolina, it was when we were coming back from New York. Our New Year's trip, not this year, but the one before. And our plane was delayed. There was a delay on the plane. We were flying from, I think, Jacksonville to Charlotte, and then Charlotte to New York, to LaGuardia. And on the way back, there was a delay. We had to spend the night in Charlotte. And we didn't have our bags, and I wear contacts, so that is not fun to not have, your glasses and stuff with you, which I didn't at the time. And they put us up in this hotel that is near the Charlotte airport, and all we heard, we couldn't sleep at night because it stank of a that's not why we couldn't sleep, but there was like norteño music playing, excruciatingly loud norteño music. And we're like, where is this coming from? It's not from this hotel. It was like some other facility. It was like a mile away or whatever. And I guess it was enough of a clearance. That's all you hear. Ding, 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 ding. It's like, what the hell? And, we had to get on some crazy early flight too. That was a hell night. And it smelled like a freaking dump. There must have been a dump nearby or something like that. Lancaster Host 2009, however, Mark and I stayed at the Red Roof a couple doors down. I've never stayed at the host. I just mean the facilities. Yeah, it got worse and worse every year. In 2018, it went back after being in Virginia. And they were redoing the hotel, and it looked like I got out of the hotel, and there was somebody working in it. I told Mitch, I said, this looks like fucking Stalingrad. All you need is a bunch of Nazis and communists running around in and out of the rubble. It was just embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. I'm not staying at that place again. You would have to demo it and then dig out all the ground for 100 feet, and then just put something else there and then move somewhere. The facility in downtown Lancaster is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, do we think these guys are dry enough? We will find out. We'll see if we can push the limits of drynessness. We're going to get the chocolate brown. Further south, you've actually touched ground, was Orlando. Never been to Central America or South America? I was at Historicon in 2009. Me too! The only time I ever went. Been to a few conventions at that location, but since I won't attend conventions for miniatures anymore, I do want a Hex Encounter wargame events. I don't know. I've seen some of those people. They don't look like they don't have any fun. There's a lot of people in miniatures games that don't have any fun either. I was there in 2009. Wait a second. Yes. 2009 was the last time they had it at Lancaster. At the Host. Because in 2010 and 2011, it was at the Valley Forge place, which I thought was okay until they turned it into a casino. I guess there's money in casinos. I mean, they're not making any money off of me, you know. I had to go buy some lottery tickets this holiday season. My wife likes to give them for stocking stuffers. And I was with my daughter. And I was checking out at the grocery store. And she was buying the lottery tickets. And I go up to her. And before, she has this weird look on her face. And I kind of have a weird look on my face too. And I told her, I said, it feels almost freaking dirty to buy lottery tickets. It's almost kind of like you're a grown-ass adult that believes in the Easter Bunny. You know, it's like, you know, you're not going to freaking win. So, I don't know. I felt dirty buying lottery tickets. But, you know, as a friend of mine used to say, it's almost as easy finding a winning lottery ticket as actually, you know, buying one. And, you know, I see his point. "2009 was the year of an Aussie invasion. Rudice. That was the Chinese theme, I believe, right? I did my Chin Chinese for that. That was also the year that Mark got his figures stolen. He never got those back, did he? Well, don't judge all of America by New York. New York isn't America. Or New York City is not America. We finally had a historical gaming convention con in Salt Lake City this year. Very fun. Excellent. You like giving lottery tickets and Christmas stockings. That's right. That's what my wife does too, but she made me buy them, and I felt dirty. Felt like I believed in something and I should have known better. It's like, you're a grown-ass adult thinking you're going to win. What's wrong with you? Every time my uncle gives me a lotto ticket for the holidays, I always win like 100 on them. Look out. Rick is pondering something. Maybe he's on the John and he's typing while he's on the toilet. He's thinking in there. He's in the think tank. It's fine. You can watch this on the John. Just make sure you don't forget to wash your hands. Okay, Greg. Thanks for stopping by. You got a lot of demands for somebody who's retired. No plans. No plans. Yeah, Greg's from the land of Oz, and he's come a couple times to America to play games. It's not like there aren't any gamers in Australia, you know. I said there's more historical war gamers in Australia probably per capita than they are, percentage wise in the U.S. I guarantee that there are. I will guarantee. What are you going to guarantee? I don't know. Just you know, makes sense to me. Yeah, when I went to Canada, there was a ton of Australians there. A ton. Like, a lot. And then Greg was telling me he thinks there's a lot of people that go there during the winter time and they come back to Australia in the winter. So they do double winter. Sounds good to me. Sounds like a plan. Sign me up. Double winter. Because the heat here comes with, it's a double-edged sword. It comes with, it comes with lots of other things, not just the heat. Your utility bills more, bugs, just bugs. Bugs and bugs and bugs and more bugs and bugs. And then bugs that have bugs. It's just ridiculous. And thunderstorms, too. A lot of thunderstorms. Not just rain, thunderstorms. I'd rather have the bugs. Not a fan of thunderstorms. Absolutely not. You hate bugs. Yeah. You're not one of these people that's going to get talked into eating bugs, huh? To save the planet, to eat bugs. You love thunderstorms. Hell no. Humidity. I actually like the humidity. That's why Canada was awesome. Bugs, flying insects, stinging insects, more bugs. Rick again. Humidity. No, I hate lightning is evil. Lightning is just absolutely freaking evil. No way to get away from it, It's worse than terrorists. Terrorists, at least you could shoot back at them. If you don't get caught off guard. Well, depending on where you are. In America, you can. Lightning, you don't have time for your butt to pucker up. No, I fail morale checks in lightning storms. Hey, everybody's scared of something. Your grandfather was struck by lightning and lived. I wouldn't bank on that. He was very unlucky and then lucky at the same time. I would like thunderstorms. My power wasn't so finicky. No. Count me out. What is it that I like that's unusual? I don't mind getting a fever. I mean, I haven't gotten a fever in a long ass time. Certainly not since everybody had, COVID and weren't washing their hands. Now they're washing their hands. But I like getting a fever because I'm cold all the time. It doesn't bother me. I knew somebody that enjoyed sneezing. That's a bit too much. Fetish alert. Yeah, I don't mess around with lightning. I can't shower when lightning's on. I had a mom that's scared. She put these freaking ideas in me and I can't get them out of my head. I can't shower with it. I even don't like peeing when it's lightning, when it's a lightning storm, You never know. It conducts electricity, Zzz, Better not take any chances. I'll just hold it. It's okay to be scared of stuff because you know what? Then you won't die by that. Hopefully. My parents knew somebody whose kid was on Jacksonville Beach, and all of a sudden they got hit by lightning and got zapped. So, yeah, we don't screw around with that. But different people are afraid of different stuff. Obviously, there's a lot of people out on the road that aren't afraid of playing with their phone and driving. That is some grade level paranoia. That's right. Better hold it. Wear a diaper. I hear some rumbling. Put on a diaper. What if it rains for 40 days and 40 nights again, Tony? How will you pee? Well, you just don't pee into something that already has water in it. My mother actually witnessed ball lightning back in the 1930s. They don't have that anymore? Yeah, just don't piss into an open lake. You're fine. Pee in a bottle, you know? Everybody's afraid of shit. Did the person unleash ball lightning? Yep, I've unleashed it before too. And chain lightning or whatever the hell it is. What's it called? Started playing a Magic Use the other day for the first time in Diablo 4. Man, what an uphill climb that is. I play all the characters. Actually, I haven't played the old hippie that turns himself into a wolf yet. Druid. It's a little too hippie-ki-yay for me. But I will. Man, the Magic User's been, the Sorcerer's been a hell of a climb. When did you play Magic the Gathering? I've actually played it one time. So one guy that I know played it, and I didn't like it at all. It's just not my kind of thing. You know, if I want to play Magic the Gathering, I might as well just play. What's that thing that Blizzard makes that's free? Hearthstone. You just play it free on your phone. Doesn't cost you anything. You know. Magic the Gathering just reminds me of one of those games that many people are just like, oh, I only play with this deck, and that's all I do. So you're basically only playing with one thing. Like, you go to a World War II game, I'm only playing with, Pershings. There aren't any Pershings, I'm not going to play the game. Well, okay, well, you're missing out on a lot of stuff. Isn't that one of the first games that Wizards of the Coast did? Magic the Gathering? Or am I confusing them with another company? Because if I'm right, and that is the company that did Magic the Gathering, they must have made a ton of money to have the funds to end up buying out, TSR and shit like that. Well, if you think Warhammer players are annoying, I can only imagine that Magic the Gathering players are just like really bad. I would imagine. All right. Wizards of the Coast indeed puts out Magic the Gathering, so that's probably their first foothold. And they want consuming other things. All right. I gotta take a pee break. I'll be right back. You know, I was just thinking, everybody, I'm pretty sure everybody is a fascist about something. And I don't mean that in an ugly way. And I'm a fascist about turning lights off when I'm not in a room. I hate a light being on in a room I'm not in. You know, like if I lived alone here and we're doing this, there ain't another light on in the house other than this one and this one here. Why? I'm not over there. You know? Do the roaches need lights? You know? Assuming there's roaches here. It just doesn't make sense. So, my daughter has a friend of hers. Every time she comes visit, she lives in a big household. Like every light in every room is on. Like, let's say the light. Let's say I don't give a crap about the earth, and let's say that air and the power is free, and it's unlimited light bulbs don't go. I still wouldn't do it. It's like someone saying, "Hey, look over here," and you look over there. Oh, there's nothing going on. Well, why is the light on? You know. I play chess while they're playing Candyland. What? Pee break, everyone. That's right. Used to really like making goblin decks and magic, but I lost interest in playing. I'm glad I did because I cost the boosters like $11. I don't like collectible stuff. I don't like Here, we'll go off on a tangent. Here's something that I picked up that I thought would be a lot of fun, and it is to a certain degree, except the rules are garbage. Relatively easy to make new rules for it. See if I can injure myself while I do that. I think I've talked about this before. And I like this, but I don't like it because it's collectible, but that doesn't mean you have to collect it. And that's HeroClix. And I always wanted to repaint one of these, but then, you know, I think the concept is really good. I think the rules are just junk. I think they have some decent parts to them, but, you know, they're way too predictable the way they is. Just played these about 3 or 4 years ago when we all went in and got one. Some of us got really, really addicted to them. I didn't, but these would be kind of fun to repaint. I wasn't really into comic books or anything, but it's a decent game. If you kind of tinker with the who goes next, it's too predictable the way it is. But I got, I don't know, 40 or 50 of these things. But we haven't played this in a long time. The rules, sometimes you have to like crack your head open and figure it out. But these are collectible, but it doesn't mean you have to collect them all. Yeah, Luke Cage. I hate that streetlights shine up into the sky. It causes light pollution, messing me up when stargazing. What a waste of energy. I wouldn't want to live on a road that doesn't have streetlights. That's a little too spooky for me. But I know what you're saying. Used to love and still do the game that came before HeroClix, Mage Knight, which was the same thing but with fantasy warriors instead of superheroes. You could probably get that really, really cheap. I have limited interest in astronomy. I'm a skeptic when it comes to some stuff that they're so sure about. I think there's just some things we're just never going to know. They're too unfathomably far away that the concept of how far away is just absurd. It was just absolutely absurd not worrying about. We don't know what color shield some of the Romans did, and that was yesterday, but we're so sure about something that's 150 light years away. Like, I didn't always felt that way. I mean, I like the solar system stuff, but outside the solar system, I don't think it's worth my time worrying about it. Now I go up there and be like, oh, okay, that's the Pleiades, or that's Orion. Orion. I don't know where you are in a part of the world, but here, or you can see Orion almost all the time. It's it doesn't look like anything else. But somebody was telling me Beetlejuice, the red one, might have exploded already, but it's going to be thousands of years before we find out. I mean, what kind of no. That's I can't function that way. That's beyond me caring. Okay, so now these guys are done. I feel like I need to rewrite some of their writing because some of it got a little too blurry. But I think I'm just gonna leave it alone. I can always do that a little bit at a later point. So I would do grass now and then do tufts. And you know what? I will do grass if I can find it. Oh, you know what? I think I put it over here. It shouldn't be over here, but I think I saw it over here the other day. And we got Elmer's handy, I'm pretty sure. Here it is. Yeah, drugs. Yeah, I would never do marijuana. Why would I do something that makes me, eat more and lazier? I got that shit down. I mean, if I have to do drugs, someone's going to put a gun to my head. I'm going to do the stuff where I get more shit done. I can get home faster by throwing the car on my back and running with it on there and get back and get home faster than I could driving. Just saying. If I had to do drugs, which I don't. See if we can find a. You like that, huh? Well, we're here to get things done. Why spend money to eat the house and not do anything? Aren't we all masters at that? Why would you pay money to just be yourself and smell like roadkill? Doesn't make any sense to me. All right, we need a little container to shake these things on top of so we don't end up with a freaking rainforest here. And that little box is over here. Got some KVs hanging in there. Have to get to them soon. But I think the next thing we're going to do after these Americans are done is we're going to do that British tank. We're going to do that A-13. Get her all pretty. Looks like I have a platoon's worth of half tracks. Do I have one to tow 57mm anti-tank gun? I don't. I do not. I do not have any U.S. anti-tank guns. I just got these because, they were available when I got them. I do not have I don't have no American artillery, actually. Which, I really don't need something big. Because remember, we're playing in 1-to-1 scale. So, it'd be open sights and like pointing down kind of thing. All right. Who are we going to start with? Let's get our device here. Let's start with the Stewies. And then let's get Mr. Super Tweezers. So, Rick, how's your family doing in Dominican Republic? Have you received any requests for ransom yet? Hey, that's been known to happen. No hostage negotiations yet. I think I did the grass first, then put the tufts. I'm pretty sure that's the way I did it. Do the other, Stewie. Pick him up at airport midnight tomorrow night. That's going to cut into your gaming session, isn't it? Should have gone with him. Why didn't you go with him? We docked at that port when they first put it in a couple years ago. And they're building like a little village specifically for the cruise ships to go in. Because apparently the crime rate's pretty high there. But you know, crime rates are different depending on what could happen to you. You know, it's very different, you know, like something disappears if you don't keep a close eye on it. Or, you know, you get held at knife point or gun point. You know, those two things are very different. Kind of a girls' trip. Mom, sister, one of her friends. Oh, I thought your dad was... What? 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 Nah. I thought your dad was going too. Okay, Hoffman. See ya. Only on Wednesdays when chicks eat free at Golden Corral. Oh my God, I'd rather eat sweet potato fries anywhere. I ate at a Golden Corral twice. I swear I'm never eating at one again. I'd rather eat one of them revolving hot dogs from a 7-Eleven that's been there a week than eat at frickin' Golden Corral. Is it a sneeze or some sort of mating call? The question is, were you turned on? That was a sneeze. I did not want this going everywhere. That would have been bad. That's the best thing about the town I live in. It doesn't have a Golden Corral. There was a strip club out where I used to live called the Golden Corral. No. Hey folks, it's your lucky day. It's the Saturday Stampede at the Golden Corral. Oh man. I don't want to eat anywhere that has a buffet and one of their dessert items is pudding. That's not a dessert. Pudding is not a dessert. You get the cattle call going for a Saturday Stampede at Golden Corral, you might just get an appearance from Alleyway Alley. Do I know how a cow moo sounds like in Russia? Oh no. I want the old Nordic back, not this. Kevin's jokes are better. Because at least with his jokes, there's no punchline. So it can't be bad if there isn't one. If you tell a joke and there's no punchline, you can make up your own punchline. That you know that you see fit. Oh, we were talking about video games earlier. What's the worst video game you've ever played? You know, relatively recent, not, Pong. You know, what's a video game you played in the last 10 years that you're like, I would rather go to work and not get paid than play this again? Luckily, mine is a game I didn't buy. It was a free demo. I'll never get back that time used to download it. And the sad thing is, it's probably a game that's somebody's favorite. Somebody out there probably, their favorite video game is the one I hate the most, that I would never play. As disturbing as that may sound, that's probably the case. Zelda Breath of the Wild. Destiny 2. I didn't like the Destiny games. Yeah. Mine is a game, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, because I don't think it's exclusive to the Xbox. It's called Watch Dogs. What a load of crap. Dumb plot, controllers don't make sense. It just a shit show. It's probably somebody's favorite game out there. It might actually be a Ubisoft game, which I kind of hold in high regard. I tend to like Ubisoft games, but Skyrim. Uh-oh. Hated the game, played the first 10 minutes, maybe a dozen times, never wanted to continue. Uh-oh. Them's fighting words, Rick. I don't know if I would like it either. I didn't like that Morrowind or whatever. There's too much talking to people. I did play that demo. I guess is it a Skyrim demo or an Elder Scrolls demo or whatever recently, and it's just like, yeah. Jacques, are you one of those people that doesn't like to play a game unless you're playing human? It never occurred to me to play a freaking gnome. Why the hell do I want to play a gnome? I mean, part of playing a role-playing game is to play somebody cooler than you already are. If a gnome is cooler than you got freaking problems. Well, Elder Scrolls, if I remember correctly, is a Bethesda game. And Bethesda, for whatever reason, and I don't get along. Not a. There might be some game out there that I like that happens to be there, but they just, I don't know, just not a fan of them, so. I would never play a freaking gnome. You play somebody cooler than you. Or somebody hotter than you. I don't mind playing the female characters. Heck, most of the time when you're playing them, you're looking at their backside. Might as well have one you enjoy looking at. Hey, just saying. That's the only reason I've even been able to play that. What's that ridiculous Baldur's Gate 3 that... That's probably the best rationale I've heard for being played. Absolutely. You know, you're going to see Assassin's Creed, right? The Greek one. You can either play a dude, no, or you can play this girl that's a little butch, but she looks pretty hot sometimes. I want to look at her. Just saying. Or people that characters that are fully customizable and they make them look ugly. Well, they do it ironically. Okay, I don't want to look at an ugly character. Sorry. You know? Certain degree, yes. How can I identify as a gnome or an elf? They look silly. You play first person in Elder Scrolls, so I don't see my character. I'd rather look at a real woman. Sure, but you're not going to play. You can't play with a real one, so you do the best you can. Unless you want to look at the backside of a dude the whole time. I mean, I guess, you know, if that's what you're into, that's what you're into, you know. Not my preference. More goop. So yeah, making my thief rogue character, whatever that Baldur's Gate, I'm like, it's gonna be a chick, and she's gonna be hot. You know, it's like it has a controversy of being able to pick the size of your genitalia or whatever. That hasn't come up yet. Now, maybe that's further down the line or whatever, but you know, that's like unnecessary. You know, I mean, even as crass as Grand Theft Auto is, you know, they don't show any. They don't. I don't think they show any people parts. And I'm not offended by it. It's just unnecessary. You can play with any woman you want. Well, just be careful who you like because, you know, they might go out and have plastic surgery. Years ago, it was an anime club until the guys started weird talking about the hottest anime babes. I left. Well, it's okay to talk about it, but, you know, you can take things too far. You know, it is just a cartoon character. You know? Too soon. Hollyweird, man. Hollyweird. It's another planet. It's another planet. It's another planet. It's a weird ass planet, too. Yeah. Oh, you don't know what goes through some people's. I'm sure there's probably some people that are like addicted to plastic surgery or whatever like that. But you show that actress to anybody, and it's like 9 people out of 10 would find her very attractive. And it's like you went and did that. I mean, oh, oh well. We know some folks that had their kids they wanted to go do movie stuff in college. I'm like, better them than my daughter. My daughter, she ain't doing that shit. That's just absurd. Very hard to make a living at it, and even if you do, you're surrounded by people that have all kinds of weird habits and all kinds of problems that you never even dealt with. Do I have all of the platoon's infantry completed? So, I have about a platoon worth of Americans. I don't have enough to do them. I just, like I said, I pick these things up. I'm going to paint them, I have probably 20 American figures, 25, something like that, painted. But I got to rebase them because the basing, it doesn't look like this. It doesn't match. But they look fine. I mean, they look just as good as I would have done now, you know. There was this girl in college that I had the hots for, and she had a boyfriend at the time, and I was kind of like, oh man, I missed out on that one. And then she goes and she had a twin sister too. I never saw a twin sister, but figured she looks the same. That's kind of what a twin is. And if there's somebody you can't have, and you're a little upset about it, the best thing they could do is get a perm. And I was like, oh yeah, thanks for doing that. Time to move on. Oh man, thank you. Oh man. Not sure how many you need for the game you want to play. 20's plenty. I gotta start small. One of these days, I'm gonna get fed up with myself, maybe. And hopefully it'll happen before I retire. And I'll learn how to sit down and run through one of these games. So when I explain it to somebody else, it'll run smoothly and I'll know what I'm talking about. There's no hang-ups and stuff like that. But right now, we're just building these things just to build them. Just because they're here. Aquarium add-on for Arc Nova. New Arc. Yeah, no game that I've played, no video game I've played was worse than freaking Watch Dogs. I don't think I could. I didn't think I survived the demo for more than 5 minutes. I couldn't take it anymore. Or at least it's the only one that comes to mind, like readily. Readily comes to mind. It's a zoo building game. I played that Jurassic Park one that was free for a little bit. Sometimes it just ends up like you just run around putting out too many fires. It's That's what my day job's like. That's, I get paid to put out fires. One game that I thought would have been a lot of fun to play is a game called Tropico. You basically create like a Sim City, like, but you're creating a country like Cuba or something like that. It's like a dictatorial, dictatorial place. But the interface with it was just really awkward. People would enjoy a game of that weight. You need better players. Start getting these simpletons off the street. I like games where you got lots of different choices. Not like, oh, there's only one thing I can do here. That's boring. Now, the board game equivalent of my detest for Watch Dogs would probably be Catan. I will never, ever, ever play Catan again. I'll eat ketchup before I play Catan. No, you didn't. Maybe. Catan is, I don't care how sober you are, it is ugly to freaking look at. First strike. It's like if nuclear power was discovered in the early 1800s, well, World War One would have been a doozy, wouldn't it? You get to nuke Gandhi in it, Rick. Yes. Kill all the peace loving people first. Yeah, I don't get the reference. It must be. I have a feeling it's off some show that involves cartoons. I'm just guessing. And I've seen none of those shows. You play Sid Meier's Civilization, and Gandhi used to. I played one of them way back in the day. I don't know which one it was. All I remember is like an Aztec battleship. Really? They hadn't discovered the frickin' wheel, but they can build a fucking battleship. All right. Maybe if it runs on like human hearts or something like that. Like you have a visitor from Russia. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know. I think it was Civilization 2 or something like that. Maybe it was the first one. I don't know. I had a friend of mine who was an addict. Speaking of old games, was an addict of playing that old game called Empire. It was just basically really basic EGA graphics, and it was all you did was conquer things, and you can produce airplanes or tanks or ships or whatever. Really, really basic game. This was downright addicted to that game. Aztec battleship. Get off my lawn. I remember when. What was that game? The Age of Empires. Not the first one. I never played the first one. The one that was all the Mesopotamian things and the Greeks. But the Age of Kings or whatever the second one was. I'm sure there's probably somebody that still plays those kind of games. I don't remember nukes in a Civilization game. Was he the same Sid Meier? Is he the same one that did SimCity? Where you create all these, you imagine a city, and if you have too many roads, there'd be a traffic problem. You create like a parking lot off on the middle of the map, and all of a sudden, that one had a Godzilla creature. That one had a Godzilla creature. You could have it attacked by a Godzilla creature, come in and tear out your freaking house, your buildings and shit like that. I don't think they called it Godzilla. They probably called it something else. You think he's the same guy? Yeah. You build a parking lot off in the middle of the map and you got traffic problems because you got too many roads. Yeah, you couldn't pay me to play them old basic games that I played a million times again. Wolfenstein 3D, not playing it again. Speaking of Mecha Hitler, there you go. Wolfenstein 3D. Yeah, I played all those games. That's when I started. I was the generation that started playing all that crap. Doom and all the other spin-offs they had of that. Yeah, I even had a superhero one. I don't remember what the hell it was, but you could cast spells and you can get inside of a freaking tank and shit like that. Hexen, that was the medieval one. I've had enough of first-person shooters. I'm fine if I never play another one. It's more of the same. I can never remember the name of that. That game. Duke Nukem 3D. I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum. That was the first one I played that had free aiming. You didn't have to aim. They had like vertices in the shooting. What we got left? This Sherman, that's it? Yeah. This Sherman, and that's it. You never liked Diablo or Doom, to be honest. Well, Doom in the day was advanced in the day. We used to play a double. We had one computer, and one guy would start and he'd play level 1, and then he would play, and then he would stop, and the next person would play level 1 and 2, and then he would stop and save, and then the first person would come back and play 2 and 3. They just leapfrog that way, and we had some good times playing Doom, man. I've failed morale checks when I wasn't even playing before. Just get into it that much. You look at it now, I'm like, why would anybody play this? I said because it was state of the art. It was better than anything else back then. Diablo, I've played through all of them. You know, it's just, hey, some people don't like Blizzard stuff. I don't like Bethesda stuff. You know, just the presentation. But the only Blizzard product that I've played that I didn't care for was StarCraft. Those type of games, just where you're putting out fires, just like, okay, I've done enough of those. Okay, now we just need to repackage this stuff up. I guess this kind of looks like weed. I don't know. I'm the wrong person to ask what that looks like. I ain't got a freaking clue. Tequila always took me where I needed to go. Didn't need an upgrade. Okay, folks. Well, we've got all of this arsenal of democracy already tough. Already have the grass on them. We'll wait for this to dry. We'll add tufts to them on a later date, and then they'll be good to go. They'll be good to go and put them in the cabinet. Yeah, and that'll add one tool. We've already done with him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 more. 14 more vehicles. So, okay, folks, thanks for stopping by. And as always, we'll see you on the next one.